Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have two really big and major things coming out over here when it comes to the PlayStation ecosystem. Two of the bigger games out there are now having, well, neither now sequels, rumors, as well as remasters, as or potential, whatever it might be. There's a lot of always what ifs when it comes to what they're going to be titled, what they're going to be do, what they're going to fully turn into. But as of right now, we do have brand new stuff coming. We have half sequels coming. We have brand new games coming. Basically, a lot of cool stuff. So let's go talk about this because any brand new game in the PlayStation ecosystem is cool to me, and although we don't necessarily fully know exactly what they're going to turn into, like I said, new games being developed, confirmations by official Sony sources it seems, and as well also from things on say LinkedIn, etc., are, well, good. This is big stuff and things that we want to go and see of, and even more games out there as well are always really big in our book. So let's go and talk about this because half sequels, big sequels, DLCs, part 2s, whatever the word, I still don't know what we're to go call it, are always nice to see. As well, a reminder, make sure you guys go and check out the Best Buy pre-order links right now for the MetaQuest 3. We have a few more days left on that pre-order in case you guys do want to get a bunch of really cool bonuses. Just the HOW link in the description and comment section down below. It has a hashtag ad, but also does support me. But as well, I want you guys to go check it out if you guys want to pre-order. We also have the subscribe if you guys are new, Twitter and Twitch down below. And if any of you guys are going to go to TwitchCon, let me know. So first and foremost, we've been seeing a lot of big news when it comes to all these upcoming games in the PlayStation ecosystem. People like games, people like new games, and of course, the really big staple games such as God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted. All these other various games are big. They either have a really long IP history, such as God of War, who's been around for, well, they've been around for a very long time, or things even like Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper's, Uncharted with multiple games in the series, Last of Us with the movies, everything, like Uncharted even with the movies too as well, all this type of stuff. There's a lot of big media behind all of these games, and that's why I think a lot of folks are excited for this one because it seems like they're going to be kind of once again pushing the same IPs once again. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of sticking with what works, and that's it. I think a Marvel movie, it's gonna be probably okay, it's gonna probably be all right, but I do like the idea when they switch it on up, and sometimes the switch ups don't do that good. Think like a Morpheus or Morbius, whatever it's called. I never even saw it, but basically for those types of examples. The part 2 of this though is that I'm kind of happy because if we don't have anything else kind of lined up, I want something rather than nothing. So half sequels like Uncharted Lost Legacy are now the future, and apparently a lot of folks people are saying this standalone expansion label's too harsh for games, but as well, a lot of these bigger games are also seeming to be rumored. So kind of first of all, start this off over here. There is the Santa Monica studio rumored to be working on a brand new God of War half sequel, which once again, the terminology for that's weird. It's like a DLC, standalone, half sequel. It's kind of like a weird wording, but either way, we'll get into it throughout the video. So according to the latest rumors, the next God of War installment could be in the works, and it may even be a half sequel, a new term that has been popping up recently. Viewer Anon, a popular Twitter user known for often reliable leaks and rumors, reported that Santa Monica Studio is working on new God of War stuff that could either be a DLC or a half sequel. Now, as I'm sure you guys can probably just assume using your brains, a half sequel is more on the lines of, imagine you have a spin-off game. A good example for Final Fantasy 15. They had 3 quote-unquote individual things that kind of expand on the characters, and it was still a new game. Or maybe another good example is maybe for Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Remaster, whatever you guys want to call it at this point. They also had some somewhat longer DLCs, where you had big boss fights, you had new character introductions, animations, but still in the same exact world, where it is still basically the same game, but an extension of it for maybe a 5 to 15 hour experience. I'm not against it. I usually enjoy more of a mainstay game. Depending on how good or bad the game is, I usually kind of like more of a proper game. But either way, it's cool. It's still good new content. People enjoy it. People still buy it either way. So the fact that Santa Monica Studios working on more God of War is not unheard of. Earlier, a job posting on Santa Monica's website hinting at the possibility of a God of War Ragnarok sequel. Some folks are curious in the sequel. Some folks are curious on this weird half DLC, half story sequel, whatever it might be. And the post details specifically mentioned that they were looking for a combat designer who had past knowledge of God of War games. And to further solidify, a popular leaker and community member, The Snitch, also reported that the DLC for God of War Ragnarok was in development. This is also back from August 2023 as well, stating, hey, we know they're working on more content, like a sequel or DLC, or the half sequel thing came out there too as well. We kind of knew, we're kind of expecting something. And that's why I kind of say, a lot of folks are saying they're glorified DLCs. No one really knows what to call it, myself even. And they're even saying that they're a fan of these not quite full games, not quite DLCs. I'll be honest, maybe a hot take, I'm not the biggest fan, like I said. I can still roll with it though. Like if it's out there, I'll check it out. But it's more of the price point's good, like 20, 40 bucks, that range. Probably I'll check it out, why not? Sure. And with the AAA game development now expected to take longer than ever, these half sequels might be the way to address a potential new release shortage too as well for PlayStation, which is also nice to see. And they're also saying we should only whisper it for now, but the biggest AAA games are taking almost a decade to come out. And it's kind of leads into a different issue, can maybe talk about in a separate video, but like it is like a big thing because some of these games are, well, a long time. Like Elden Ring DLC, we still haven't gotten it, and it's been multiple years now since Elden Rings came out. But at the same time, too, as well, something like God of War, it makes sense. You give us a 2-year while the main game is still going. It's kind of like a hold me over type style game. Now, this guy is saying over here, or a person who's running it, was more saying like, hey, they prefer the shorter games. I'm okay with longer games as long as they're not 50 hours. Like, I mean, it depends if like a Baldur's Gate, if I know what I'm getting into, I'm okay with it. But like a God of War, I don't think I'd enjoy the game for 50 hours. It kind of runs its course. Like 30 hours in, a little bit of side stuff if you wanna, sounds great to me. I'm cool with that. Or same with Last of Us, like a nice longer playthrough, 20 hours or so. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But either way, these half DLCs are kind of gonna probably become more common, maybe, mainly because it would just make a lot of sense. I don't know, like, it makes sense. Like, it just takes a little less time to develop, costs a little bit less money, and like I said, you can still be developing the bigger mainstay games as these are all happening in the back end. So even for them, they're kind of saying like, yeah, they like these old school style games or something like, you know, like, good example, Spider-Man and Miles Morales. I would love to play another Miles Morales game. It was short enough, but it was long enough that I still appreciated it, and it was still a good gameplay experience. It was like still 20 hours. I would count that as a real game. It was in the same Spider-Man universe, like 2 years later, and that really did go hold us over until Spider-Man 2. Not fully, 100%, but the sales were still doing very well in all these various markets, and at the end of the day, like, I'm still good with it too. And as well, even some of these bigger things too, like Cyberpunk. Probably Cyberpunk's actually a really good example, and it almost would just be the same exact thing, like, really separately. Where like Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty, brand new area, brand new storyline, brand new characters, voice acting, weapons, gun, rehauling the game. And this is kind of what I'd expect from something like a God of War, where it's either a expansion, which it probably won't be standalone, but you have that same idea of like you're in that same environment, same literal character, same little engine, same voice actors. So it just kind of seems like you're just playing the same game, which is a little bit more content. Ghost of Tsushima 2 might have been a good example as well. Although some of these are also in that weird, strange spot where they're kind of like this pseudo half sequel, kind of not. And that's why it's intriguing because, well, what is it? Like how do we kind of define if it's a DLC, but it's still a 30-hour DLC, which is a brand new Ares games, versus a half sequel? Or like when do you want to sell it separately? When do you want to have it loped on into DLCs? Like it is a little bit of a complicated thing in the gaming industry. Although it kind of is the same thing regardless. It's either a DLC or it's something else. So I'm not 100% sure. But either way, kind of the big story for this one is it does seem like God of War is having new games on the horizon. But as well, we've also seen even more stuff too when it comes to LinkedIn too as well. When it comes to LinkedIn too on top of this, okay, so like we go and look through all these types of things, and we see these types of things too. It's intriguing. On top of this, mainly over here too. One sec. I'm closing this off here in a second. So the random like things popping up. So as when it comes to this stuff, we have all these various things where we have other people out here on Naughty Dog, and they're like, hey, like here's our new accomplishment stuff. We're working on brand new things. We've worked over here at these companies, and they've had a chance now to go and have and mention The Last of Us Part 2 also remake, which once again was a bit on the intriguing side. We talked about The Last of Us in like remake just in the general sense, and that's cool. But at the same time, the first one did well. Like, I didn't mind the first one. But the fact that they're trying to go also maybe remake the second one is maybe a part of a secondary problem, which once again, I maybe want to touch on a separate video, where if Sony's trying to go and rehash all the same stuff too much, it might lead towards a problem. Like seeing cool stuff like God of War, or a brand new Uncharted, these half-sequel games, or even like how we had example for Cyberpunk, etc. I like that. I think that's cool. I'm cool with more content as long as it's well made. Part 2 of this, though, is it's weird if like they keep on trying to rehash the games too quickly. And Last of Us had a big drama with that too as well, where they just kept on trying to resell it. Like they remastered like 3 times on the PS3, PS4, PS4 Pro, PS5. And like it's okay, like it reintroduces new audiences, but at the same time, if you kind of keep on hashing on too much of the same exact IP, it could be potentially bad. Like let's say you do it for every big Sony IP, People who are fans of those games will probably enjoy it, but anyone who plays all of them might think it's a bit on the overwhelming side. Once again, use like Marvel as a reference for that. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments, because a little bit of a ramble video all over the place. It's cool to see new games, like a God of War sequel coming. I'd be cool with that. Or an Uncharted, like little either new sequel, new game, new like half DLC, half whatever. I'm cool with that. Even for Last of Us, you want to do that instead of the factions and give us like a half story in that same environment, kind of how even Cyberpunk did, but maybe sell it separately. I'm cool with this. So I don't know, really big ramble. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We do have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and of course the Best Buy haul links and all that good stuff down below for the pre-orders for the MetaQuest. Click those on up and check them out if you guys are interested. #ad, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.